Cracks in the US-Israel alliance spill into the open as disagreements over Iran become increasingly public. Is Israel losing patience with Trump as Washington pushes diplomacy while regional tensions continue to rise? An Israeli official publicly challenges Washington's approach, accusing the US of applying a double standard on Iran. The US urges restraint on Israel even as it carries out its own military response against Iranian targets. Are tensions between Trump and Netanyahu becoming harder to conceal as differences over Iran deepen? An Israeli official signaled rare frustration with the Trump administration's handling of the Iran crisis and recent regional tensions. An Israeli official told the Times of Israel that disagreements between Washington and Tel Aviv over Iran are becoming increasingly pronounced. According to the official, Washington justified its own military response after coming under attack from Iranian forces. The official said Israel was repeatedly urged by the US to show restraint following attacks by Iran and Hezbollah. The complaint came after Iran reportedly shot down a US military helicopter during heightened tensions on June 8. Following the helicopter incident, Washington moved quickly to carry out retaliatory military action against Iranian targets. Israeli officials said, and I quote, "The US understandably felt that not responding would have made them look weak. But when we said the same thing following attacks from Iran and Hezbollah, we were told by the administration to show restraint." Unquote. The comment suggested growing unease within Israel over the Trump administration's broader strategy toward Iran, experts noted. Trump and Netanyahu have repeatedly clashed over Iran, Lebanon, and wider questions surrounding regional military strategy. The tensions followed reports of a heated phone call between Trump and Netanyahu that reportedly took place last week. Axios reported Trump blasted Netanyahu using profanities during the reportedly tense exchange between the two leaders. Trump later confirmed the call took place and did not dispute reports describing the tone of the conversation as sharp. Iran opens a new front across the Gulf, bringing key US allies into the widening regional confrontation. The conflict spills across Jordan, Kuwait, and Bahrain in a single wave of missile and drone activity. The IRGC claims it launched 12 ballistic missiles at Al-Azraq Air Base in Jordan during the operation. Tehran alleges the base is used to support US F-35, F-15, and F-16 military operations in the region. IRGC said, and I quote, "The strikes were carried out in response to US attacks on sites inside Iran, including a recreational site, an industrial complex, and areas near military installations around Karaj, Nasrabad, and Peshawar, as well as a local IRGC base. Operations would continue as long as enemy aggression persists." Unquote. Jordan activates emergency procedures after reports of incoming missiles and hostile aerial activity. Residents in Amman are urged to seek shelter as fears of further escalation grip the country. The US issues a security advisory for its citizens in Jordan, urging them to remain indoors. Meanwhile, the US Embassy in Baghdad advised American citizens to depart immediately amid rising tensions. Kuwait temporarily closes its airspace as the regional security situation deteriorates rapidly. Kuwaiti military officials say air defense systems were activated to respond to potential threats. Bahrain also places its air defenses on alert as the crisis spreads across the Gulf. IRGC-linked channels release footage purportedly showing missile launches from Iran's Isfahan province. Tehran says the strikes were aimed at US military facilities and command centers across the region. As tit-for-tat attacks spread, Trump's warnings appear unable to halt the march toward wider conflict. Iran has announced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, dramatically escalating tensions and warning Washington against further military action.
The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya announced, in continuation of the hostile actions of criminal America, and in light of the beginning of attacks by the aggressive military against certain areas in the south in Hormuzgan province, effective immediately and due to insecurity in the region, the Strait of Hormuz is declared closed to the passage of all vessels, including oil tankers and commercial ships. And any transit through the strait will be targeted. The United States' claim regarding ship passage through the aforementioned strait is denied.
Tehran says all commercial and military vessels should avoid the waterway, warning that any attempt to transit the strait could face direct action. Iranian media reports that 2 vessels were hit after allegedly attempting to pass through the strait despite Tehran's restrictions. The move threatens one of the world's most important energy corridors, raising fears of disruptions to global oil supplies. The US military says fresh strikes were carried out against targets in Iran after President Trump authorized another round of operations. American officials insist the strikes are defensive in nature and were launched in response to what they describe as ongoing Iranian threats. Tehran says its air defense network responded to an alleged airspace violation, forcing a US fighter jet to withdraw from the area. Multiple explosions were reported in Bandar Abbas, adding to signs that the confrontation is spreading across southern Iran. Iranian state media says blasts were heard in Karaj, fueling speculation that fresh military activity is underway beyond the Gulf region.
According to IIB, areas in Sirik, Kurgan and Minab were struck by enemy projectiles and explosions were heard in areas in south of Iran, including Bandar Abbas. About 10 minutes ago, I and other citizens in Bandar Abbas heard 3 explosions. Follow-ups have been done and an assessment so far. The type of projectile and the exact location struck is not clear. Before that, those living in Sirik in the coastal region in East Hormuzgan province heard 3 explosions. The possible location of strike is being assessed, and we are waiting for supplementary information to relay. In addition, in Keshem Island too, we have reports of explosion-like sounds being heard.
President Trump reportedly told Iran that the latest US strikes were a response to the Apache incident and not the start of a broader military campaign. Trump claimed senior Iranian officials reached out directly and urged Washington to stop the ongoing bombing campaign. The US president warned that military action could continue unless Tehran agrees to a deal with Washington. In a stark warning, Trump said Iran would face another round of strikes if negotiations fail to produce results. Even as reports of back-channel communication emerge, both sides continue exchanging military actions across the region. The confrontation is expanding across key strategic areas, raising concerns about a wider regional conflict. The latest developments follow reports outlining potential US plans targeting major Iranian military and strategic infrastructure. The United States is now declaring that bombs would hit Iran hard if negotiations fully collapse. But is this escalation already locked in motion? Hegseth has warned that tap bombs could be deployed against Iran if a deal fails, signaling a sharply aggressive contingency stance. A stark tonight warning has been issued as America's war rhetoric continues to escalate, leaving the timeline dangerously uncertain. CENTCOM is now backing potential strikes as so-called self-defense operations expand, broadening the scope of possible military action. And with a second straight day of reported US attacks, war rhetoric appears to be reaching a new peak, with escalation fears intensifying further.